कर्मण्यकर्म यः पश्येद् अकर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृत्स्नकर्मकृत्.
Comments on the Gita verse, the one who sees action in inaction and inaction in action, that one is the wise one, and that one is the doer of all action. Karmanya karmaya pashyet akarmani cha karmaya sa buddhiman manushyeshu sa yukta sa kritsna karma krit. So in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, 18th verse, a very interesting verse. You see, sometimes in the Gita, there are difficult verses. Suddenly you'll come across a difficult verse with paradoxical language. The one who sees work in no work and no work in work. And Sri Krishna builds up to it. When he's explaining karma to Arjuna, he says there is something to be understood about karma. There's something to be understood about no karma, akarma. And one might think, what is there to be understood about karma? What is there to be understood about no work, work and no work? When you do something, that's work. When you don't do something, that's no work. And Sri Krishna then hits you with this paradoxical statement. Just the opposite. He says, the one who sees no work in work and who sees work in no work, that one truly sees. Now that's a very strange thing to say. It sounds cool, very nice, very philosophical, very deep. But if you rationally analyze it, say, what kind of a silly statement is that? A wise person should see work as work. When you do something, that's work. When you don't do something, that's no work. And that's common sense. But how is it doing no work is work and doing work is no work? How? So seeing work in no work, when the unwise person, when the ignorant person, when the unenlightened person says, I will give up work, I will give up karma, because it's being told to Arjuna, who wanted to stop doing his duty. I am going to go to the Himalayas and sit quietly. What are you doing? No work. But that is also work. Why? Because there's the doership is still there. Do you remember the 5 factors we talked about? It must be in a living body. There must be a sense of doership, agency. There must be a sense of enjoying or suffering. And there must be a sense of moral obligation, including choice. If all those things are there, and then the cosmic result, all those things are there, then it is karma. Clearly it is karma. Now when I decide, I will not engage in work in the samsara, is it a choice or not? It's a choice. Is there agency involved in it? Yes. Then that's also action. And that puts you in a much worse position. There is a duty clearly presented to me. I have chosen not to do it. For what reason? Under the mistaken notion that by that I will be free of karma. That's also another karma you're doing. And as a serious violation of duty and morality also. So the wise person sees in the unwise person's decision to refrain from work, that is also work. That is also karma. Is this part clear? Why is that karma? Because agency is there. For example, a statement, I am fasting. But what exactly are you doing there? You're not eating. So that should be no work. But we take it as work. It's a lot of hard work to fast. A lot of agency is involved in not going and raiding the refrigerator. It's a good practice, but it's a practice. Look at the word, it's a practice. Not eating is a work, but not eating is also work, probably harder work than eating. So the unwise person's decision to refrain from activity is also activity of a much worse kind. The wise person sees that. And the opposite, the wise person's activity is no activity at all. How? No sense of agency is there. Why? Because a wise person sees oneself as consciousness, not as a body-mind engaged in action. Consciousness is aware of the mind thinking. is aware of the senses engaged with the world, is aware of the hands working, the feet walking, is aware of all of that, but clearly sees that I am not doing it. A devotee would say everything is being done by God's will. Rama Richa story is there, the will of Rama. Or nature is doing everything. If a jnani is not in the path of devotion, will not want to talk about God, I am the witness of work being done. As I'm the witness of a lot of activity in the world, I'm the witness of the activity in the body and in the mind. There's actually a state in which one does not feel identified with body and mind. Though the jnani, the enlightened one, may do a lot of action, still can honestly say, I do nothing. But which I? Not body and mind. For the jnani, it's very clear. There's the witness awareness, which is obscured for us. But for that person, it's very clear. From that perspective, I do nothing.